Hey guys, it's Andrew from REI Live again here in Columbia. And listen, if you don't know what REI Live is, you need to check us out. We are Lucas Properties and we do a lot of investing in our local market, and we talk a lot about that at REI Live Columbia. If that's something that interests you, check the links below. You can find out, you can figure out where our next meetup is, but come join us, it's a good time. We're standing in a Lucas Properties flip right now, and we're going to talk about 5 things that you need to know when looking for private money. Who wants private money? Everybody does, all right? So raise your hand, let me know. Put the comments below if you're looking for private money. Guys, if you haven't heard of OPM, other people's money, it helps to grow real estate businesses because you can use acceleration with using their money by leverage, acceleration through leverage. So what I'm talking about is private money, just kind of getting the basics, all right? So what is private money? That's the number one thing. And how is it different? Okay, so private money is money from individuals. They may have an LLC, but it's an individual, usually in your local market. That might be friends with you, family of yours, or family of your friends, or in your network. If you come to our REI Live meetings, you find private money investors there. They're local people that you can borrow money from. And what does it mean when I say private money? Guys, it's just basically, it's not banks, okay? It's not banks that have a lot of red tape. These folks, when they have private money, they can write you a check tomorrow and say, here you go. There's not a lot of banking rules and regulations and red tape that you have to go through. All right, so that's what private money is. Number 2, I've got it written down, so I'm going to take a look. Maybe he'll cut this out, I don't know. How do private lenders work? Okay, so private lenders work just like I said. They're your friends, your families, and people in your network. A lot of times it starts with just a handshake. Say, hey, I got this really good deal. This house right here, we have private lenders on. We got this really good deal. We want to borrow $100,000. We think the property's worth $150,000. Hey, Mr. Private Money Guy, would you lend money on that? And so that's how a lot of it starts. As private money investors get more experience, or you as a borrower gets more experience, you will most likely have standard forms that you use, contracts, promissory notes, mortgages. Those type things are still used, but you don't have to go through like all the big bureaucracy of the banks. You don't have to get appraisals if you don't want to, right? You don't have to fill out all this paperwork beforehand if you don't want to. It's smart to get your paperwork done, and we could talk more about what paperwork is needed at a different time, but it's a lot easier. That's what I'm trying to get at. It's a lot easier work with private money investors because they're here, they're your friends, they're your family. You can make a deal, shake hands, and you start to get to work. All right, so what's number 3? I don't know, I should keep my phone up. Number 3, so working with private money investors, you'd like to know kind of what to expect. We usually say anywhere from 4 to like 12% interest is what you should expect. You're not really going to get a 3% interest on a private money loan unless it's good family members, right? If they're your mom, dad, whatever, might get interest free. But most people are going to lend you money and expect some kind of return. So depending on the risk, of the property or the deal, 4 to 12%. When does working with private money investors make sense? The biggest thing for this is, when does it not make sense? If you're moving into the house and that's going to be your primary home, private money investors do not make sense because there are laws called the Dodd-Frank Act or Dodd-Frank laws or whatever it is that primary home lenders must follow, and most private investors aren't going to follow those rules, and you're not going to, as a borrower, you're not going to follow them, and it's just, that makes a mess. So don't go reach out to a private money investor for your primary residence. It just can cause some issues, all right? When you do look for a private money investor, it makes a lot of sense when you're buying a deal that has a lot of equity or that falls into your expertise and falls into your expertise. So using a private money investor, they're really investing in you and what you can do along with the property. So if you have been buying mobile homes for 10 years and that private money investor likes to lend you money on mobile homes, keep doing that. When you go to try to get a 50-unit commercial building, you might want to go and try to find a traditional lender or partner or talk to that private money investor before you go jump into something totally new, because that investor is betting a lot on you and a lot on the property. Okay, so that's when it makes sense. What's required of you when you use private money investors? What's required of you is you got to be you. All right, you got to get to know these private money investors. You got to ask them and find out what they need from you. The biggest thing is that you got to get a good deal. You got to not lose their money. All right, because if you lose their money, they're going to be your neighbor. You're going to hear about it. But you got to get connected with either have your own experience or get connected with people that have experience using private money. Okay, investors. Yes, they might know you, they might be your friends and family, but remember, if they're cutting you a 6-figure check, they're going to want to know that you know what you're doing. So just do that. You don't have to worry about all those other things. Let me tell you, going to a bank, you got to go get the 800 credit score or whatever it is, and your W-2s have to be filled out, and you have to give them all your tax returns. That stuff is not required when it comes to private money. The private money investors are looking at you, your experience, and the deal. All right, so that's what you got to get right. And the final thing is, where can you find private money investors? And I'll tell you right now, they are everywhere. Okay, you have to be aware of that and come to our meetups. All right, so just come to our meetups. That's the only place to go. But go to your local meetups wherever they are. Get online, get in the forums, and tell people what you're looking for. Tell them about you, your experience, your deals. That's where you're going to find your private money investors. There's actually online websites too. I mean, you can go and type it in Google and start finding people. Mostly those will move into like a hard money type lender, but you might find a couple private money investors in your local market or around that'll stand out for you. All right, so I always suggest get to your network, your sphere of influence, and start talking about your deals, talking about real estate and how you can put people's money to work. All right, one thing I want to leave you with is, when you're talking to private money investors, you're not begging for money. The private money investors want to lend their money. You guys remember this. They want to put their money to work because they have 100 grand sitting in the bank. They're not making diddly on it. There's like nothing coming. If they go put that 100 grand in the bank, then they have to leave it there, and then they have to jump through hoops to use it, right? If they give that money to someone like you, an investor in real estate, like I said, they're going to make at least 4%, maybe 6%, 7%, 8%, 10, 12% interest. That's real money for these private money investors. They want to lend you money. So when you're talking to them, you're not begging. You're showing them what opportunities are there for them to grow their wealth and grow their income and grow their nest egg, if it is their retirement, right? So go in, talk to people in your sphere of influence, talk to your network, come to our meetups, and understand that those private money investors need people like you and us who are investing in real estate, because they need to get their money working, and real estate investors need money to work on houses. All right, so it's a wonderful partnership. You've got to go find some partners. If you need help with that, put something in the comments, reach out. Make sure you like and subscribe to this video, because next time I might give you a few more tips on how to work those deals with those private money investors. All right, look forward to seeing you next time. See ya.